Happy New Year, everybody. First fantasy forecheck of the new year, of the new decade, brought to you by the Ram 1500 Sport. Andy McNamara alongside Nick Alberga. And Nick, as usual, today, hey, new year, but we're going to still give you the goods on waiver wire pickups, on sleepers, and how to win some cash in the Ram Sportsnet Fantasy Hockey Pool. We'll go with schedule manipulation, but let's begin with the top storylines of the day. And trades starting to pick up. Ilya Kovalchuk, he's back!
Yeah, this is fun. We had 3 trades in less than an hour back on Thursday, and let's not forget, we will talk a lot about the February 24th NHL trade deadline. Let's save some for those NHL GMs if you're watching this right now.
Right.
But Michael Frolik has been a guy who's been speculated to be moved out of Calgary for a while. He lands with the Buffalo Sabres. They had no choice. You lose Victor Olofsson and Jeff Skinner in successive weeks, you're in trouble. And what I'm touting this week, and little to no ownership right now on Michael Frolik, he will get an opportunity, you would have to think, with Jack Eichel and Sam Reinhart. You have to feel for Jack Eichel. I think at this point in time, he's really going to try to prove and show that he is the Hart Trophy winner this season, because if you can will this team into the Stanley Cup playoffs, missing 2 bona fide snipers, top 6, who have both had a lot of chemistry in the last couple of years with Jack Eichel, all the power to him. But I think Michael Frolik is a guy to eye right now as we talk about the notable injuries in fantasy hockey.
Yeah, I love that. And what about the signing of Kovalchuk by the Montreal Canadiens?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. I'll be honest. And, you know, I've been all over
Name
this.
recognition.
Yeah, like if it was Ilya Kovalchuk 10 years ago, okay. But it's, you know, I think you have to take it with a grain of salt. I put this out in my 20 fantasy thoughts on Sunday that I think it's a wait-and-see approach when it comes to Ilya Kovalchuk. I think at some point in time, maybe catch lightning in a jar. To start this season, the first 10 games, I thought he was outstanding in terms of fantasy production for the LA Kings. He will play in the top 6. They need goal scoring in Montreal. He will play on the power play, but let's not forget, he's 36, Andy. Come on.
Yeah,
with all due respect to 36-year-olds out there to play at a level in a game where everybody's 22, I don't think so.
And it might be a case where you're getting into a little more sizzle than the steak.
Yeah.
Is he worth a stash, though? Do you think if he's there? Like,
honestly, not really.
Yeah.
Even in standard 12-team leagues, I don't think you're finding much value in Ilya Kovalchuk in Montreal. Honestly, he's a guy I'm plug and playing. He's a guy I'll use in daily fantasy hockey. But there's far better options, which we'll talk about in mere moments, that, you know, could be good replacement options for guys like Victor Olofsson and Jake Guentzel, of course, in Pittsburgh.
Sure, and hey, you know what? How about some love for the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah, we're giving some love to the Vancouver Canucks this week. Certainly, I think you look at JT Miller, looking at his first career 80-point season. If things continue, Vancouver's won 7 straight games. They're playing outstanding right now. Love seeing Jacob Markstrom go to All-Star Weekend, by the way. Contract year, Jacob Markstrom. He's going to get paid by somebody. Hopefully, it's the Vancouver Canucks. Tanner Pearson, former Los Angeles King, on a 60-point pace right now. Jake Virtanen quietly on a 50-point pace. I think there's a lot of value in Vancouver. They go from a team that was one of the worst in the NHL goal-scoring-wise last year, now to one of the best. They're top 10, the Vancouver Canucks, and they're a force to be reckoned with, in my opinion. Also want to circle back as well and talk about some Jake Guentzel replacements, right? Because that's big.
That's huge.
Mike Sullivan, he has done an exceptional job, and we've talked about this a lot already on the show this year. The Pittsburgh Penguins, guy goes down, another guy comes up, and they've been doing that for the last couple of years.
They do.
That's where they found Jake Guentzel, right? From the American Hockey League. Comes up, replacement option. He's been an absolute stud. So I think if you're looking at potential options for Jake Guentzel and Victor Olofsson, my one guy is Nikita Gusev. We'll talk about momentarily. In-house, in Pittsburgh, we're banging the Galchenyuk drum again. I think it's 17 times. At some point in time, contract here, Alex Galchenyuk, you would have to think he's going to wake up. But
gonna happen.
Again, he started in a revenge game at the Bell Center Saturday night. He started with Malkin and Rust. He played 9:22, or around 9.5 minutes. Yeah, he was in Mike Sullivan's doghouse quickly. So
he's due, is what you're saying.
Or he's not a good fit there. Buyer beware, I would say. Buyer beware, I would say, on Alex Galchenyuk. So I'm going to look to Vegas. Chandler Stevenson, I think, has been a great pickup coming over from the Washington Capitals, and of course the correlation with George McPhee, their former Capital executive, and he brings his guy in. And Alex Tuck, you know, those two have been playing with guys like William Karlsson. I was going to say Melker for a second. And Riley Smith. Jonathan Marchessault's day-to-day right now, and Cody Glass sustained a tough injury to watch transpire on Saturday afternoon. So there's a lot of looks to be had right now in the top 6 of the Vegas Golden Knights. But if you scour around long enough, you're going to find a replacement option that's pretty bona fide.
Let's swing to the schedule manipulation. That's what we like to do, of course. Our mantra here, more games you play, more chance you have for fantasy points. There are 8 teams that play 4 games this week. Just one in a 2-game schedule. That's the Minnesota Wild. You can see that up on the screen there. You got Arizona, Columbus, the Kings, Montreal, New Jersey, Tampa Bay, Vancouver, and Winnipeg, all with 4-game weeks.
Yeah, so we're going to look at 3 specific teams that I think you want to try and manipulate their schedule. I've sort of handpicked them to have the best schedules, if you will. Start with the Winnipeg Jets. I think you're looking at guys like Jack Roslovic, 1% ownership, Matthew Perreault, 1%. I always like to stream Matthew Perreault. Always randomly picks up points.
At some point in the season, every season, he becomes fantasy relevant for like a pop.
It's hilarious. He's like your perfect, just a weekly stream, ride the hot streak. So I think you look at him. I think in terms of the Sportsnet fantasy hockey pool, I know Connor Hellebuck has been struggling. He's hit a bit of a wall, as you said back on Friday in your hit on Sportsnet. Kyle Connor, Patrick Laine, they have extreme great value right now in the Sportsnet fantasy hockey pool at 2. I mean, in a 30 cap system, I'm all over that. Arizona's another team I'm looking at. Jacob Chikrin around 30% ownership right now. He's been a stallion on the back end. Carl Soderberg's another guy who's been quietly producing. I think in terms of the Sportsnet fantasy hockey pool, 3 points for Taylor Hall. I'll take that every day of the week. Oliver Ekman-Larsson 2, and Aiden Hill. And I say Aiden Hill at 2 because Antti Ranta got dinged up on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Darcy Kemper's out. A 4-game week for Arizona. I'm not putting much stock in terms of daily fantasy or any league you're in picking up Aiden Hill, but think about it at least and document.
Have a look.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about it, to be honest. And the LA Kings, Jeff Carter and Tyler Toffoli, contract year. Tyler Toffoli, I like to call him. He'll likely, very likely, I'll put it at 99% dealt by the LA Kings by the February 24th deadline to a contender. So if he picks up his play, it's good for everybody involved there. And from a fantasy hockey pool point of view, Jonathan Quick, Anze Kopitar, Drew Doughty. How's that sound?
I dig it, baby. I did. Now, moving to the waiver wire pickups, and this again is where going over some of the names you have, but you look, and our criteria is in that 50 to 55% below ownership range when it comes to Yahoo League. So you talked about the Pittsburgh Penguins. How about returning Patrick Hornqvist?
Yeah.
Right? 10, and people forgot about 10 games he was out with the lower body injury. So he was at the beginning of the week in 42% ownership range. Now he's starting to rise a little bit. And this is a guy where you look at what he's been able to do going back since returning on December 28th. His ice time's been gradually increasing, right? That's what you want to see. He's got 3 goals and an assist in his last 3. He's good for 5 or more shots a game. As a depth guy on a stacked Pittsburgh team. I like it.
Definitely, and not to mention that guy wears 87 in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
He's back skating.
Right.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby's coming back, and this team I documented on Twitter on Saturday night, 12-2-1 since December 1. They got a win from Matt Murray on Saturday.
Yeah.
Watch out for Pittsburgh, so I like that. I'm going to New Jersey for my selection. I'm going to go with Nikita Gusev. Mystifyingly enough, the Devils have been much better after trading Taylor Hall and after making a coaching change. Alain Nasruddin, the interim head coach there, seems to have sparked the former KHL MVP, Nikita Gusev, has 10 points in the last 10 games, less than 25% ownership in Yahoo Standard League. So I honestly, and this is just my opinion, of course, I think Nikita Gusev is the best replacement option at this point in time for Gensel and Olofsson.
I'm going to stay in the swamp on the blue line.
Like
though.
it.
Sammy Vatanen. I've liked this guy going back to his Anaheim days.
Yeah.
23% ownership. Now, the numbers, the goal scoring, the points, they're not going to blow you away. But this is somebody, back-end defense or for a depth guy, you can get. He's readily available. And when you look at what Vatanen can do, he's got you. Anytime there's a defenseman that gives you consistent 20-plus minute times, that's what you like. You're always going to get the block shots. Steady guy who, again, is not going to blow you away with fantasy numbers, but heck, if you're injury prone, you're suffering, Sammy Vatanen is a nice pick.
I agree. I love the gamesmanship here by the New Jersey Devils as well. They're fattening him up, so to speak, for the trade deadline. February 24 is a UFA to be. He's been way better than PK Subban, but PK Subban should be on PP1. It's been Sammy Vatanen with 4 forwards for like the last month.
Yeah, he's getting power play time too.
A lot of power play time, and you get exposure to Nico Hischier, who's been on fire, Nikita Gusev. That's good news for Vatanen owners, surely. And I think you look at him, potentially could be dealt, but also I think if you're New Jersey, you have to contemplating re-signing him long term. So I like that look quite a bit. For my back end, I want to add too as well. Ryan Ellis, took that nasty hit from Corey Perry in the Winter Classic, so he's out with a concussion. Internally in Nashville, you maybe look at rookie Dante Fabro, at least in DFS. He scored in the Winter Classic. And the Dallas Stars, John Klingberg, day-to-day. Esa Lindell's been ripping it up, 5 points, all assists in the last 3 games. So you look there. For my guy, I'm going to Samuel Girard, a guy we've touted at points and times this season, especially with Cale Makar down. 8 assists in the last 3 games played for Samuel Girard. So as we always like to say, just ride the hot streak, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Ride it. In between the pipes. rookie in Washington, Ilya Samsonov. Don't
nasty.
Don't
He's
look now,
so good.
Braden Holtby. Don't look now.
He better look now.
11-2-1 on the road this season,
Yeah.
right? 11-2-1. This guy, all he's been doing is pushing Holtby for playing time.
Yep.
He's averaging 15.5 fantasy points over his last 4 starts, all victories. I think at the very least, we're looking at a timeshare, and as a number 2 goaltender or DFS, especially when he's starting, you pick this guy up. He's owned in only 32% of Yahoo leagues.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, I put this out on social media the last week or so that I think he's really pushing Braden Holtby. Holtby's still the firm number 1 there, but I think the more Samsonov plays this way and the less that Holtby struggles the way he has been the last couple months, I think there could be a goalie controversy come the spring. We've seen that a lot. Matt Murray ousted Marc-Andre Fleury a couple years back, right? Anything is
Tristan
possible.
Jarry rocking it there now.
Exactly. And certainly I think when you look at Washington, Braden Holtby's a UFA, and you see Samsonov and this kid, what he's doing right now, and you want to stay in Washington, from all accounts, it sounds like Holtby wants to stay at Washington Capital. Good luck with that. I'm going to go with another rookie goalie, a Latvian, 25-year-old Elvis Merzlikins. Ain't nothing like a hound dog. Something like that. I don't know my Elvis. I'm not brushed up on my Elvis.
Yeah, I think you got it.
But, I mean, you got to have burning love for this guy. That's another Elvis. There you go.
Wow.
But Jonas Korpisalo.
Cyril Show, folks.
Yeah, I am here for the next 6 minutes. Jonas Korpisalo. That is a tough industry, and of course, tough injury.
Yeah,
and it comes,
industry, yeah.
It comes off the heels of one of the best John Tortorella tirades, where he lost his mind again.
Love it.
You know, if Tortorella had his way, there wouldn't have been a shootout, there wouldn't have been a Jonathan Taves attempt, and there wouldn't have been a Jonas Korpisalo injury. But from a fantasy perspective, Elvis Merzlikins, 5 goals against in 3 games since Korpisalo went down. I think there's a lot of value, sneaky value, in the Columbus Blue Jackets. I've had my reservations, at least earlier this season, when it came to Merzlikins. He had not had a win until like 3 games ago, and we're into January, folks. But I think there's significant value in this goaltender right now because Columbus is so stingy defensively. Nobody worries about that team that I think they sort of crawl up on you and sleep on you. And so I'm going Merzlikins this week.
Yeah, they certainly fly under the radar.
Yeah.
So those are your waiver wire pickups for the week. You got any comments, questions, you can hit us up in the comment section below or on Twitter at AndyMC81, at The Golden Muzzy.
Yeah.
But now it's time to try to win some cash, baby. And the Ram Sportsnet
Manziel,
Fantasy
go Browns.
Hockey Pool. Oh, boy.
Manziel should coach the Browns.
Don't think he could. He couldn't do
should,
any worse.
not he could.
Could not do. He's
that guy?
available. Johnny is available.
We know that, yes.
And what we got for you, what is available is opportunity to win some great cash prizes. Your share of $50,000 weekly prizes. Fantasy Forecheck, that's this show, is brought to you by the Canadian exclusive Ram 1500 Sport. This full-size pickup gives Canadians exceptional capability under the hood, advanced technology inside, and impeccable styling throughout. It's the Ram 1500 Sport, and it's designed for life in the North. So, this is how the contest works, folks. As you know by now, the great thing about this fantasy pool, you can be playing all season, or you can just jump in and win those weekly prizes. So you have 30 points to spend. Players are labeled from 1 to 4 points, and then in the forward group, 6 forwards, 4D, 2 goaltenders. Out of each group, you got a Ram-capable tag 1 player. And what that means is double the fantasy points. So who do you got for your forward?
Well, for all you wrestling enthusiasts out there, I'm going to walk with Elias, not Elias.
Ooh.
Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks, a 4-game week. The Canucks have won 7 games in a row. Pretty easy decision for me. I'm riding the hot hand, and this guy is one of the best players on this planet.
How about the red hot, the streaking William Nylander? I'm going value
Couple
here.
Swedes, I like it. Okay.
I'm going. How about the value here? And we talked about that 1 to 4 point scale with 30 to spend.
Yeah.
He's at 2 points. William Nylander's just scoring in bunches. That's all the dude's doing. You look at him, 8 goals, 6 assists over his last 8 games. The guy's been an absolute monster. He didn't pot one on Saturday, but Nylander's been the hottest fantasy forward over the past week. And you know what? Like we say, you ride the hot streak till they give you a reason not to. And I will take that 2 points. I'll double my fantasy points. And I'll see what he does this week.
Yeah, John Tavares, I think, has brought a lot out of Willie Nylander.
Yeah.
And I don't know where those haters of the contract are. I can't hear them anymore.
They're
I'm always on
silenced.
social. Yeah, they're very, very silenced.
Yeah.
D-wise, I'm going to Zach Werenski. 7 goals in the last 8 games for the Columbus Blue Jackets. You want to talk about point value in the Sportsnet Fantasy Hockey Pool? 2. I mean, that is value right there. You got to ride the hot hand. So pretty simple again for me. Zach Werenski, one of the hottest defensemen right now in the NHL.
I'll go with the 2-pointer as well in defense, and he is the 2nd highest fantasy point defensive producer. Dougie Hamilton.
That's good,
At
isn't
2.
it? Yeah.
So here's the great thing. I can tag Dougie Hamilton, who has been more consistent as of late than John Carlson. And for all you John Carlson lovers, I can still put John Carlson in my lineup at that price. Dougie Hamilton is slowly creeping, just very consistently creeping up that fantasy rank to try to grab John Carlson for that top spot.
Yeah, we got to stop talking about him, or the powers that be will change into a 3-point
That's
defenseman.
right. Yeah,
a
2
la
points.
John Carlson.
Get him.
You have to. Like there are certain guys we talk about in every episode that you have to have on your roster, just more so because of their value.
Right.
I think among them clearly Dougie Hamilton. In between the pipes, I'm going to ride Tampa. I know I had Vasilevsky a couple weeks back, but we all prognosticated this hot streak. It's here.
It's here.
6 wins in a row as we speak here early on this Sunday for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going Vasilevsky. He's pricey at 4, but there's so much value. This guy won the Vezina Trophy last season. And a 4-game week for Tampa. We're going to see a lot of Vasilevsky. This team is not losing hockey games right now. So, again, pretty easy for me.
More Vancouver Canucks love coming my way. Goaltender Markstrom. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Right?
A lot of Swedes on that. I like this.
A lot of Swedes.
It.
We're going Swedish today, people. So you got Markstrom. He's won 6 in a row. Okay, right there. What's the most important thing in fantasy hockey? It's wins and shutouts.
Yep.
Right. So you got the win factor going for you. It's a 4-game week for Vancouver, so you figure he's going to play at least 3 times.
Yep.
And for Markstrom, what else can you say? He's hot.
Yeah.
Keep going with him.
Yeah, contract year.
Contract year.
We love to tout the contract years here at the Fantasy Forecheck.
Exactly. So you keep doing that. Go with Markstrom. All right, folks, that'll do it for another edition of the Fantasy Forecheck. Welcome 2020. Any comments, any fantasy questions, we got you on Twitter at AndyMC81.
At the Golden Muzzy.
And we will see you next week.